Hey friends, today on Gardening with Creekside, we're going to start a little cleanup. We are going to take out some summer annuals and prep the bed for fall plantings. Yep, here in North Carolina, end of August, I am doing all that I can to encourage fall to arrive. I know for my folks who have long, hard winters, y'all find that concept crazy. But for us, where it is hot and humid and sticky and nasty, we welcome fall and we do everything that we possibly can to encourage it. So what we're going to do today is we are going to rip out some of the petunias that are just looking rough. And yes, I could probably spend a lot of time and energy trying to resurrect them. Don't want to. I'm ready to get them out, ready to get them cleaned up, ready to get this space ready for my fall plantings, like I said, because violas, I mean, they could go in less than a month. So we're gonna get that cleaned up. I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Of course, we are here by the patio with the fountain there. What the specific place that I'm talking about right now are these mini Vista Indigos right here. They're sad. Yes, they have a few blooms on them, but y'all, these are not pretty. Don't try to tell me these are pretty. They look bad. They look rough. They are coming out. They have had a good life. That is what annuals do. They give us loads of beautiful color for months and months, which these have done. So we are going to go ahead and get those pulled out, like I said, and prep the bed for fall. Going to go ahead and also spend some time cleaning up my roses a little bit. We need to get in here and do some deadheading. I do have, they are blooming and they will continue to bloom, especially as the season progresses, because we do have quite a few more months here of growing time in North Carolina. You can see, look at that, the poet's wife. Isn't that just sweet? I love it. So we're going to deadhead and we're going to fertilize and just kind of be neat and tidy in this area. Now, if you will probably notice behind me, I have the generous gardener back there. Not so neat and tidy, looking rough. That's going to be day two. Day two is going to be taming the generous gardener and cleaning up this flower bed right here. I am pacing myself. It is the end of August and we're going to get out here and get this small project done. It is going to make me feel so much better getting this job done today. So that is what we're going to do. Remember, you don't have to be in your garden for 8 hours to feel accomplished. You can set a small goal before you and do that. So that is what we are going to do. We're going to rip out the petunias. Not hard. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, y'all, right? So we're going to rip those out. And then I do have Johnny right here, and Johnny is loaded with land and seed. That is how we are going to go ahead and prep the bed. And then I have my rose tone. That is what we are going to feed our roses with. So it's going to be a pretty straightforward, simple task today. Like I said, it's going to make me feel very accomplished, and so we are going to go ahead and get that done. First things first, the fun part, the very satisfying part, at least for me right now, is we're going to pull out the petunias. Just find out where that root ball is, pull it up, and throw it in the container. Then at the end of the day, we'll just throw all those containers into the compost pile, and yeah. So we're going to get going and get this petunias out of the ground. That was like the easiest thing, but yet so satisfying all at the same time. All the Super Petunia Mini Vista Indigos are out of the ground. Pretty easy to pull up, because while this bed does have irrigation, this specific area does probably not have enough to sustain the petunias, and which was fine during the spring, summer. We're getting regular rain, average temperatures, not a problem. We have not had rain, good rain, in well over a week for us. We're getting dry. And so we haven't had good rain, and then just a whole host of things has led to these petunias are just done. also the fact of they've been in the ground for months and they have had a very good life. So what I did, of course, is just pull them out. Pulled out the roots as I was getting them up, and then always find, if you see a weed, grab a weed, right? That is the name of the game for sure. So this whole area is nice and clean. We're gonna go ahead and tidy up the roses. We're gonna do the roses before I put down the land and seed, because the land and seed is gonna be kind of that last top dressing in there. So we will hold off on that. Yes, I know there are some weeds in there, just a few, not too terrible bad. Underneath the roses, we will address those as we come to the roses. Now, this is not the time where I am going to come in and severely prune my roses. I just want to come in and do some deadheading, because while these roses, these are David Austins, they bloom periodically throughout the summer. Of course, in the spring, early summer, they're stunning and just loaded. And then they just do periodic blooms throughout the season. These are the old blooms, right? These are the rose hips. So what I want to do is come in and take those off. There is possibly time for me to get new flowers off of these. Certainly these are not going to flower again, right? Now, if I wanted to, and if it were later in the season, I could leave them, because the rose hips may turn a beautiful, sometimes they'll turn like reds and oranges and really pretty colors. I'm gonna take my chances and go ahead and prune these back a little bit. So when you're pruning, you just like every other kind of shrub or plant, basically when you're pruning, you want to come above where you see the two leaves right here. You're gonna come in and just do a nice clip, boom. There you go, right there. You'll notice they are a little bit yellow, and yes, there's a little bit of black spot on them. That's why we're gonna feed them black spot with your roses, especially in your areas where it's really hot and humid. That is very, very common. It is not horrible. I am treating it, but I am not like overly concerned. I'm not thinking about ripping them out. They will be fine. Pretty soon, you know, within a couple of months, we're gonna have a hard freeze. All this foliage is gonna be gone. We'll clean it up, move on. This is just kind of what they look like this time of year. That's why we're gonna clean them up, feed them, and hopefully we'll get lots of beautiful, nice, rich green foliage on them, darken them up, and some more blooms before the season is over. So what I'm gonna do is just go through and, like I showed you, just neatly shape them up, take off those spent blooms, and that way plant is neater, tidier, leaving all the flowers, of course, and yeah, just make the bed look a little bit neater. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, my friends, so the roses have been trimmed and deadheaded and shaped up a little bit. So now it is time to fertilize. I am using rose tone, and I am simply following the directions on the bag of the rose tone. So when you look on the back of the bag, it says for established plants that you need to feed monthly from the beginning of the growing season to the middle of September. So this will be my last feeding for the year. And because these are considered single plants, we're gonna do about 1.25 cups for each rose. Now, I am not gonna be super scientific. We're just gonna get down here in the ground. And so I'm gonna kind of pull back my mulch a little bit. The sun is not my friend right now. So I know this is probably a little hard to see, but it's not rocket science, y'all. All you gotta do is pull the mulch back and then grab a couple of handfuls of the fertilizer and sprinkle around. There you go, just like that. Work it in, and then you're going to bring your mulch back up and cover it up. So simple as that. Pull the mulch back, sprinkle about 1.25 cups around each plant. and then we're gonna get the hose and water everything in. Once I've done, put the fertilizer down and watered, then we're gonna lay down the land and see, and today's project is gonna be over. Okay, my friends, today's project is complete. It was a simple, easy one, still a little toasty, but it was good, and it makes me feel better every time I walk through here. It's gonna look neat and tidy. There we go. So let me just show you, of course, the final result. I mean, nothing spectacular, y'all. It's an empty bed with fresh compost, fertilized roses. Yeah, filled up the water fountain. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But you know what? Gardening does not have to be, like I said, small little task. Make it manageable and get it done, and you will feel better because you were outside and you got something accomplished and got some fresh air, and yeah, little things. In August, there's a season for everything. August is not the season to be outside, you know, for, like I said, 8 hours a day in the full sun working in a flower bed. No thank you. I will pass on that. So this little project right here makes me feel better. My mini Vista yellows, my Super Tunia mini Vista yellow petunias desperately need some fertilizer. We're gonna try to get the tractor hooked up because we need to get everybody a nice round of water soluble fertilizer. I'm just gonna stand here in the shade and show that to you. And so they will pop out. They have done better than what was right here. So with the mini Vista indigos, I really think that is more of a water thing than anything, because like I said, the ground was super dry right here. However, that compost I put down was soaking wet, so I got covered in compost water, and that's why it's so dark right now. Once it dries up, it'll be a little bit lighter, but those roses are going to be very happy. They had new growth on them, lots of new buds, so they're going to flush out and be quite happy again. You know, going in towards the end of the season here in August, we're just trying to keep things alive and halfway happy. Tomorrow, we will try to come out here early in the morning and tackle this next flower bed, cleaning it up, and get the generous gardener under control, because she's out of control right now. So, as always, hope you found this fun, informative. Get out there and do just a little something in your garden. You'll feel better. We appreciate you. Thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. See you in the next video. Bye, friends.